I can't believe it.
Mia dropped her phone on the butcher block kitchen table with a clatter, a stunned look on her face.
Penny Schroeder is dead.
Oh, that's too bad, I said. Admittedly, I was only half listening as I stood behind the counter, measuring dried lavender for the custom tea blends I was making. It had been a productive, relaxing day. I'd caught up on all my orders and was even getting ahead. The afternoon sun slanted through the side window, and Oscar, my black cat, soaked it up as he slept on a chair beneath it. The kitchen smelled like potpourri and coffee, as Mia had just made a fresh pot. Ever since she'd decided to return to school to become a lawyer, while continuing to work part-time as a waitress at Aunt May's diner, her coffee consumption had gone way up. I was surprised she was able to sleep at all with all the caffeine coursing through her veins. Although, now that I thought about it, she had been drinking a lot more wine in the evenings as well, probably to counteract the coffee. Who is Penny Schroeder? Mia ran a hand through her straight, dark hair, which was cut in a chin-length bob. Half Japanese from her father's side, she was petite with a narrow face and high cheekbones. Like me, she was in her early 30s, but since returning to school, she appeared significantly older.
I always forget you haven't lived here very long,
she answered. Nope. Barely a year, I reminded her. I had moved to Redemption, Wisconsin from New York with my husband at the time and 16-year-old stepdaughter, Chrissy. My Aunt Charlie had died, leaving me the big, rambling old farmhouse Chrissy and I currently resided in, along with Mia, who had moved in to save money while she went to school. She paid for the utilities in lieu of rent, and we split the grocery bill. The house, along with being well over 100 years old, was also haunted. Not so much by Aunt Charlie, although I did suspect she was one of the ghosts, but by former occupants Mad Martha and Nellie. Back in the early 1900s, Martha's husband built the house for his blushing bride, but sometime after the birth of their second child, Martha lost her mind and ended up killing her maid, Nellie, and then herself. No one was sure why Martha did it, but supposedly, Nellie and Martha's husband were having an affair. Ever since, the townspeople were convinced that Mad Martha, and probably Nellie, were haunting my house. My house wasn't the only haunted place in Redemption either. In fact, the entire town had the same reputation, ever since all the adults disappeared in the winter of 1888, leaving only the children behind. The children all swore they knew nothing about it. When they went to bed, the adults were there, but when they woke up, they were gone. To this day, it's still a mystery. I wasn't sure how much I believed the children's story. I had a sneaking suspicion the kids knew more than they'd let on. But alas, since none of them were still around to question, I suspected the truth was also dead and buried.
Penny Schroeder was, a fixture in Redemption, Mia said. Her family has lived here since the 1800s, and her great-great-grandparents, maybe it was her great-grandparents, I can't remember how many greats, were two of the adults who disappeared.
I paused, a sprig of lavender in my hand. Seriously? I didn't realize there were people here who could trace their lineage back that far. That's actually really cool. Mia didn't respond, as she seemed to have stopped paying any attention to me. Instead, she pressed her hands to her cheeks and slumped over in her chair.
Man, I can't believe she's gone.
I put down the lavender and walked around the counter to sit next to her as she stared down at the table. I'm so sorry. Were you too close? Mia didn't respond, and I put a hand on her knee. I expected to see tears, but her eyes were dry. I can leave if you need some time alone. She still didn't say anything, but just as I was about to get up to give her some space, she released her breath in a heavy whoosh and shook her head.
No, stay. It would help to talk. I'm in shock, I think.
I can imagine, I said, rubbing her knee gently. Getting a text like that would definitely be shocking. She scrubbed at her face.
That's part of it, sure. But mostly, I guess I just thought I'd have more time with her.